Beyond the Gates spoilers for the week of June 9 to 13 hint at more bombshells in Fairmont. And it sounds like the fun little flirty encounter Chelsea Hamilton had during the week of June 2 to 6 at the bar will get far more complicated in the days ahead. That's because Madison will end up being Dr. Madison Montgomery, the very physician overseeing Bill Hamilton's recent medical crisis at the hospital. While the two will run into each other during the Monday, June 9 episode, they'll both act as if they've never met. Still, BTG spoilers imply that as the week of June 9 progresses, Chelsea and Madison will connect quite a bit. In fact, Chelsea will lean on Madison during this stressful time with Bill. Still, as the weekend rolls around, Chelsea will feel emotionally challenged by Madison, so it sounds like things will get very complicated between this budding super couple fast. Across town, Catherine "Cat" Richardson will be breaking rules left, right, and center to nail Leslie Thomas and Eva Thomas. Beyond the Gates fans saw Cat break into her half-sister's hotel room to look for evidence, and she found Leslie's helmet and gloves. During the week of June 9 to 13, it looks like Cat will replant these items in Leslie's apartment and manipulate Jacob Hawthorne to get another search warrant for the villainess's living space. He'll fall for the play, get another warrant, and snag the items, but spoilers also imply that Cat is playing a dangerous game. So will Leslie figure out what Cat has done? Leslie is not the type of person anyone wants to mess with, so here's hoping Cat doesn't land in a dire circumstance, all alone with Eva's mom. Elsewhere, Ted Richardson will present an interesting offer to Eva. Could he ask her to work with him in his office? The father and daughter had a nice talk during the week of June 2 to 6 about how much she missed her work as the Richardson family assistant. Maybe he has a role in mind for her at his work. Plus, Ashley Morgan will question Derek Baldwin's intentions. Is there more trouble on the horizon for these two? Back to Bill, he'll end up living to see another day after his most recent medical crisis, which will end up being a stroke, as most fans had thought. Sadly, Naomi Hamilton will take the blame for her dad's health issue, and thankfully, she'll confess this to Vernon Dupree, who will be there for his granddaughter in her time of need and act as a support system. Hopefully, Vernon can convince Naomi that she shouldn't bear any guilt about this. Meanwhile, Dani Dupree won't be able to stay away from Bill during his time of need, so she'll swing by the hospital to play doting ex-wife. However, it sounds like this won't only rub his current wife, Haley Hamilton, the wrong way, but also Dani's side piece, Andrew Richardson. In other news, the Articulates will gather and talk about a reunion, so BTG fans should expect Anita Dupree, Tracy, and Sharon to put their differences aside and come back together for a stage performance. But will Sharon's bitterness cause friction along the way? Finally, Bradley "Smitty" Smith will get a new investigative journalist assignment, and it sounds bad news for his hubby, Martin Richardson. Will Smitty be asked to investigate a past crime? Could it be linked to Martin's past secret? Beyond the Gates spoilers reveal that lines in Martin's past and present will blur during the week of June 9 to 13, so perhaps fans will finally find out what he's so desperate to keep under wraps. Beyond the Gates spoilers for Monday, June 9 to Friday, June 13. Bill's ongoing health crisis brings the women in his life together and causes waves in the relationship of one. Meanwhile, Smitty's job puts him on a collision course with Martin, Ted makes Eva an offer, and Cat does something downright foolish. Keep reading for the details on these teasers and more. Copy Beyond the Gates spoilers for Monday, June 9. When Cat takes things into her own hands, is she simply making herself Leslie's next target? Well, more than she already has. Nicole can't help but wonder exactly what Eva's up to and whether her motives can be trusted. Rather than come to blows, the women in Bill's life come together as he deals with his health crisis. As real-life newlyweds share scenes from their magical honeymoon, find out who's seeing whom off-screen on all soaps. Beyond the Gates spoilers for Tuesday, June 10. Chelsea manages to connect with Madison. Will this turn into something real? Naomi, who believes herself responsible for Bill's condition, is comforted by Vernon. Things are about to get complicated between Dani and Andre. Why? Because of Bill, of course. Beyond the Gates spoilers for Wednesday, June 11. Anita gives Vernon an update on the Articulettes and their potential reunion. As Chelsea worries about her dad, Madison is there to offer her support. Sure sounds like something real is happening. And during LGBT+ Pride Month too, way to represent Beyond the Gates. Beyond the Gates spoilers for Thursday, June 12. Unfussed by the state in which Laura was left, Kat continues to play a dangerous game. Will setting a trap for Leslie work, or only serve to make her more dangerous than ever? Smitty's got a new assignment at work, but it could cause big problems for his hubby, Martin. Will Eva accept when Ted comes to her with an unexpected offer? Beyond the Gates spoilers for Friday, June 13. The lines between the past and the present are more blurred than ever for Martin. There's nothing wrong with admitting you need glasses, buddy. Ashley can't help but question Derek's intentions. Is she right to be afraid? Is Chelsea biting off more than she can chew where Madison is concerned? It seems that way as Chelsea finds herself being challenged on an emotional level. Next week on Beyond the Gates, Kat thinks that she and Jacob are finally going to get the goods on Leslie. Elsewhere, Dani's private life could soon go public, and Anita makes one last pitch to her fellow songbirds. The latest preview, which you can watch below, kicks off with Andre proving that he's become just a little bit too comfortable in Dani's home. When he makes a bombastic entrance, he quickly discovers that the woman he's there to see isn't in the room, but two others are, and it's safe to say he's piqued their curiosity. As if that's not enough for Andre to deal with, it looks as if he and Dani's latest tryst might be interrupted by, well, pretty much the last person she'd want walking in. Perhaps it's time for these two to let the world know that they've gotten involved and let the chips fall where they may. Or would that make things just a little bit too real, and perhaps cause them to finally discuss what they really are to one another? Elsewhere, Jacob has very, very good news for Kat. In fact, what he shares with her is so good that she declares they are so close to putting that bitch away for good. But given Leslie's history of wiggling out of trouble, we can't help thinking Kat might be counting unhatched chickens. Naomi confides in Vernon that she feels she's the reason her father is in the hospital in the first place. She clearly blames herself and the case she was bringing against her father as part of what's led to Bill's recent health problems. Finally, after reuniting with Tracy and recalling the tragic past of the fourth Articulate, Barbara, the three surviving group members came together. However, Anita wanted to pull the plug on the reunion, leaving the third member, Sharon, fuming. Coming up, Tracy cries, "The love was real, the sisterhood was real, and it's still here. All we have to do is reclaim it. But can they? Hey, the Spice Girls managed to do it. Once." Be sure to read the Beyond the Gates spoilers to find out who Chelsea leans on for support regarding Bill's health, and what could cause more problems for Martin and Smitty. From the start, I've liked that this show thinks outside the soap sex box. Beyond the Gates has a sex-positive attitude that's head and shoulders above other soaps, in my humble opinion. The same goes for their willingness to play their LGBTQIA+ characters. They don't hide the gay characters until June, and then dust them off for Pride Month. Are Martin and Smitty a terrible couple? Yes, but that's not because of their sexuality. Rather, it's because of their personalities, or should I say Martin's personality. And hey, that's progress. That said, it's a little weird that the show seems determined to avoid showing these two as a passionate pair, almost never allowing them to kiss. What's up with that, given how progressive it is on nearly every other level? Take, for example, Chelsea. The sexually fluid beauty's experience with a throuple helped her realize that when it comes to her love life, she prefers women as the entree as opposed to simply an occasional dessert. Instead of hiding or suppressing her feelings, Chelsea set out to find herself a girlfriend. She found a new target this week in Madison. I loved watching Chelsea's bulldozer method of flirting. It seemed kinda similar to Kat's approach to her investigation of Leslie and Eva. As for Madison, she played it close to the vest, but I got the sense that she didn't mind Chelsea's flirting. This is something that I think the Beyond the Gates writing team does very well. They can set up a story very cleanly with a little bit of a sparkle. There's a bit of a breakdown though when we go beyond the initial payoff. See the fallout from the Leslie/Eva takedown of Nicole and Ted. In the meantime, I can't wait to watch Chelsea and Madison sizzle their way to coupledom. As a Kat fan, I hated to see her go overboard with her unauthorized investigation of Leslie and Eva. Her interference is contaminating evidence, and she's still a little too focused on Eva. Breaking into her new half-sibling's apartment was definitely taking things too far. Don't get me wrong, I may not love Kat's approach, but the writing is perfect. Kat knows nothing about how to conduct an investigation, so she should be making a lot of mistakes. I want to look back a few years from now, when she's much better at this private eye stuff, and think back to how awful at it she once was. Plus, she has a goal, which too many characters lack. Leslie was also doing a smidge too much this week. I know, how much is too much for a woman whose dial is always set on 10? For me, it was threatening to get a restraining order against Kat. Her fatal flaw is that she keeps pushing, usually to her detriment. That's one of her fatal flaws. Girlfriend's got a few of them. Nicole seems to be taking this breakup with her husband a little too well. I love that she's a nice queen, but that doesn't mean she can't be looking for revenge, even if it's only a little. Dani and Bill had mad chemistry when he was in the hospital after his TIA. A fact his current wife definitely noticed. But kill it with fire. I don't want them back together given how awful he's been to Dani. From the start. I suspected that Anita might have something lurking in her past. But the arrival of Sharon and Tracy turned everything upside down. Turns out our girl Anita was an ambitious young woman, so much so that she maybe kinda sorta drove gal pal Barbara to commit suicide. That was definitely an unexpected twist. It's hard to believe the show has only been on the air for 4 months. Beyond the Gates has developed characters that already have pretty vocal fan bases, given us villains and heroes, and, best of all, been wildly entertaining. I can't wait to see what the show looks like 6 months or a year down the line. I was surprised when Thomas didn't kiss Eva in her hotel room. I was even more surprised when he admitted that he has feelings for Kat. I always thought he was playing both of these young women, but instead he demonstrated some kind of moral code, one that he apparently shuts down in order to work for Bill. It was good for Kat to hear. He's still a little sus as far as I'm concerned, especially given that he agreed to spy on Bill's daughters for him. I like Joey, Vanessa, and, plot twist, I finally like Doug. So I'm having a good time watching their story develop. Is Joey going to try and get back in Vanessa's good graces, or will this dire situation bring her and Doug closer together? Remember, Doug and Vanessa have children together that we haven't yet met. Can't wait for them to come on the canvas and shake things up. Maybe one of them has the means to pen Joey's plans for Doug and Vanessa. Beyond the Gates spoilers suggest that the CBS soap just released its preview video for the week of June 9 to 13, and fans should anticipate some bombshells. What's set to unfold in the land of Fairmont Crest over the next 5 days? Time to find out. Beyond the Gates spoilers for the week of June 9 to 13 suggest that the jig might be up for Danny Dupree and Andrew Richardson. The BTG preview opens up with Catherine "Cat" Richardson and Chelsea Hamilton joking around in Danny's office when Andrew pops through the door, stating, "Danny, show yourself, woman." Of course, he's shocked to see his cousin and friend staring back at him, instead of said woman he's calling out for. This prompts Chelsea to ask if there is something he needs to share. As the scenes shift, A clip shows Dani&Andre in bed, canoodling as Vernon Dupree's voice can be heard downstairs, calling for his daughter. A scared-looking Dani looks over at Andre and whispers, "Daddy?" Will Vernon catch Dani with her much younger lover? Across town, Jacob Hawthorne is seen at the diner during the preview with Kat. The cop tells his cousin-in-law that the helmet and gloves that they retrieved from Leslie Thomas's were the same ones that the rider in the accident had. Kat exclaims that they are so close to putting that witch away for good. Speaking of Jacob, his wife, Naomi Hawthorne, is in the next clip with her grandfather Vernon, as she states I'm the reason he's in the hospital in the first place, and then states that it's all her fault. It looks like Naomi feels like she should take the blame for Bill Hamilton's latest medical crisis, when at the end of the day, it truly isn't anyone's fault. Finally, Anita Dupree is shown on her couch in her living room, with her fellow articulate sisters, Tracy and Sharon. In the clip, Tracy states, "The love was real, the sisterhood was real, now all we have to do is reclaim it." Can these three land on the same page for a music reunion? Looks like it's heading in that direction. Are you excited about the week of June 9 to 13? Share your thoughts. Tune into the CBS Soap Daily so you don't miss a moment of the drama, and visit CTS often for the best Beyond the Gates spoilers, updates, and news. Beyond the Gates What to Watch Storylines weekly update for June 9 to 13 tease the week ahead. These Nickel question Eva's motives, while Ted has a surprising offer. Plus, Anita gives an update on her group. Tune in next week so you can catch all of the action in Fairmont Crest. Monday, June 2, episode number 64. Ted and Eva discussed Leslie's manipulations and the damage caused by her actions, their conversation uncovering the depth of the betrayal. Meanwhile, Sharon confronted Anita, forcing her to face the painful truth of their shared past. Sharon's emotions ran high as she demanded answers, bringing up memories that both women had tried to bury. The confrontation left them at a crossroads, with both women grappling with unresolved feelings that threatened to change the course of their futures. Tuesday, June 3, episode number 65. Leslie turned to an unlikely source for help, seeking support from someone she never thought she'd trust. Naomi and Haley found themselves caught in a life-changing situation, one that left them questioning their next steps. As tensions rose, Dani struggled with her insecurities about Andre, feeling torn between her fears and the emotions she was beginning to confront. Her inner turmoil left her at odds with those closest to her, making it harder to move forward. Wednesday, June 4, episode number 66. Jacob caught a break in Leslie's case when he uncovered a crucial lead that could turn the investigation. Doug had unexpected news for Bill, which left him reeling. Meanwhile, Chelsea made a mysterious connection with someone, though the full implications of this encounter remained unclear. Thursday, June 5, episode number 67. Kat received unexpected news that shook her to her core, forcing her to reevaluate her position and what she was willing to sacrifice. Laura turned to an unlikely source for help, placing her trust in someone who could offer the insight she needed. Sharon's bitterness, however, threatened to derail her attempt to reunite with Anita. Meanwhile, Ted coaxed a confession out of Eva. Friday, June 6, episode number 68. Unaware of hidden dangers, Eva and Thomas shared an intimate moment. Their connection was undeniable, but there was a sense of impending doom that loomed over the moment. Vanessa confronted Doug about his gambling debts, demanding answers that he struggled to provide. Chelsea, feeling vulnerable, opened up to Naomi about her feelings for someone special, revealing emotions she had kept hidden for far too long. Kat's true crime obsession keeps paying off. In the Friday, June 6 episode of Beyond the Gates, she discovered Eva wouldn't be home for a while, so she hightailed it over to her room. And then she searched and searched for the evidence that could nail Leslie for Laura's hit and run. While she was there, things got a little dicey. Kat did her best Dani impression, and she talked her way into the hotel employee letting her into Eva's room. She even played the sister card. After she was alone, she looked for the helmet and gloves. At first, she came up with nothing. However, when Eva and Thomas suddenly arrived, Kat hid under the bed, which was the best thing that could ever happen. She ended up killing 2 birds with 1 stone. Consider this a win for Kat Richardson, the DMV's resident Nancy Drew. Or maybe we should refer to her as only murders in the building's Mabel Mora, aka Selena Gomes.